Welcome to the Clapper Racing YouTube channel. Oh yeah. I didn't film it, but I fixed the air conditioner on this thing this week and it's blowing cold. Fixed it a couple days ago, 3 days ago or so. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a thermostat in this thing because I think somebody at some point swapped it out to a cooler thermostat, and what that does is on a fuel injected vehicle with no tune in it is it keeps it sometimes, if it's low enough, in the open loop fueling, which means less gas mileage, running richer. And with this 454, I'm trying to get all the gas mileage I can get. I know it's not going to be good on gas, but I don't want to be throwing away fuel mileage either. So I went and got a factory temp thermostat, which is like 195, I believe, and I'm gonna put that in here, and got a radiator cap and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put that in here, and hopefully that'll make it run a little warmer. It was running a little bit over that first mark there, over the 100, so I'm assuming it was running about 180, but we're gonna try to fix that, get her running the temperature she does from the factory, and maybe we'll see an increase in gas mileage, but get started on that. There's the new AC compressor. There's the thermostat. Seems pretty easy to get to, so hopefully it won't be too bad to change. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this and see how long it takes. Got the thermostat changed out. Gonna fill her up with coolant, crank it up, and bleed all the bubbles out with my bleeder funnel, and that should be it for that. Went ahead and ordered some new tires. Got the wheels off the RX7 on the front, and gonna go ahead and get these new tires on here. These are just Nexen SB802s. They're really cheap. I haven't had any issues with them, but these I've been riding with a really bad alignment, as you can see, especially on this one on the bottom. It's in really bad shape on the inside of the tire, as you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that out because I really don't want to be doing 130 plus on those. So these tires are cheap and they're pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and get them swapped out today. Looks like it's gonna be raining today, so it's a good day to do it. And I think the reason why those tires wore like that was because I rode for so long with the alignment messed up before I did that one in the driveway, and it's back right again now, so hopefully I shouldn't have an issue with it. And so that's what I'm gonna do, get them tires on there, and we'll see what the weather looks like after that, see how far we can get today. Back home, got the new tires mounted on the wheels. So she's ready to go, brand new rubber. So I got to get them on the car, and it's on to the next project. Got the radiator cover off of this turd, and had the radiator mounts here. They just had a screw and a nut on there, a bolt and a nut, and I bought one of these nutsert tools from Astro, and so here it is right here. This is what I'm gonna be putting in there. It's a pretty cool tool. Basically, you just screw this piece onto here, and you stick it in the hole, squeeze it, and it pretty much crimps it in there, and that way you won't have to have any nuts on the back side anymore. You just screw your bolt in the hole and keep on moving. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that to these mounts here on this radiator, and try to get it. I would like to get it away from this radiator hose a little bit more. That way I have a little bit more room for expansion on here. I'm thinking I might try to go get a new radiator hose, just because this one's been touching the turbo, and I'm afraid it's gonna maybe bust one day. So I would like to go do that, and I need to get a air dam in to kind of shovel some air into the radiator, so the thing runs a little cooler when it's riding down the road. I'd made one before, and here it was. It was just kind of like something I threw together real quick. But here it is. It was mounted on the car, and it seemed to work a little bit, but I would like to change it some and pretty it up a little bit. But we'll see what I can do with that. I'd really like to have this like ABS plastic, but like I said, we'll see what we can do with that. And but I'm gonna try to get these nutserts in and get that straight first. Got the saws all out, as you can see, and cut some of this down here. It was probably sticking out about that far. So whenever I put the new coolant hose on, which I'm gonna go get a new one, it won't be so close to the compressor housing on the turbo. As you can see here, this one was getting very dangerously close to popping. There wasn't really much left of that radiator hose. I don't know if you can see in there, there's a little slit. So she was getting ready to pop, and I knew that was coming. So that's the reason why I wanted to get this done. I got the nutserts in to put one here, and put one in here. So all I got to do is just thread the bolts in. I don't have to have nuts on the back and all that crap. So, and also I decided to just change this up a little bit and reuse it, and got some black paint on it. So I'm just going to use this thing here as my air duct and see if it works. Looks a little better now that it's painted black, and it should work, I hope. But when I drove it to Raleigh, this thing was usually runs between 190 191 typically, and the fan, which moves a lot of air, was on basically the whole time, and I think it was 101 that day, and it was getting up to around 200. And what I think is happening is the intercooler is blocking, and it's having some kind of like a real low pressure or no air area around here. So the fan is trying to pull all of its air, because it actually cools down whenever it's sitting still. So I'm trying to get that to funnel some air into the radiator, and maybe that'll help going down the highway, because that's where I really had the issue. When I come to a stop, it would cool down a little bit. So and from the factory, these cars, the radiator was tilted back, so air was able to come up, and it had a piece on the bottom, plastic tray that would funnel air into the radiator. So I believe that's what my issue is. So it's not overheating. These engines were manufactured to run 210, 220. So it's not technically overheating, but it runs hotter than I want it to. There's no reason with that fan why it should run over 290. So I'm gonna try to get that on after the paint dries on it. I'm gonna go get me a new radiator hose, and I can put that back on, and I believe she will be done. And all I have to do is swap the slicks on the back, and she will be ready for streetcar takeover. I don't see anything else I really need to do to it. I may change the oil one time, even though I just changed it, or I may just put a new filter on it or something. But other than that, she's pretty much good to go. Just got back from the parts store. Here's my new radiator hose that I got, and I'm just going to use basically this section of it and probably going to cut it somewhere around here. But like I said, I cut off some of this here, and I'm going to test fit this thing up and see how good it fits. And I also got a bunch of jugs of water to fill this thing up. I drained all the coolant out of it, and I'm going to replace it with water because if it leaks on the track, it'd be a lot less clean up for the track people. So I'm going to get started on that, and I'll show you when I'm got this thing cut up to fit and on the car. Got the new radiator hose on there. It actually comes with this little mesh protector, so that helps. Got doesn't look like it, but I really do have a lot more room with this radiator hose and how I cut it back. So pretty happy with that. And got my bleeder funnel in, and I'm gonna start filling this thing up with coolant. I'm gonna put my my little, I don't know what to call it, air dam, I guess, on here, and bolt it up and crank this thing up and get some water going through it. That's pretty much going to be about it for this video. Kind of short, but I wanted to show what I was doing to this in the truck. And they're pretty much both ready to go. All I got to do is just swap the slicks on here, load it on the trailer, and that'll be about it.